blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, family? It's Malika K. Courtney. I am excited to be here with you all tonight because I did tell you that I like fun and I like mischief. So tonight we're going to get into some mischief that I like. But first, let me get these thank yous out the way. Thank you to Blast 247, Blast Music 247, let's be specific, for hosting me and having me come on and do a podcast. I'm very happy to be part of the family. It's wonderful here. We have burgers. Also, to Troy, our VP, who was absolutely amazing and running things in the grown-up station. Thank you for being the grown-up in the room because I don't know all these buttons. So thank you. I'm grateful. And tonight, you guys, we're going to have a bit of a conversation and a little bit of fun. Let's do it that way. And this is what it looks like. So I had the pleasure of someone encouraging me, instructing me, telling me to stay in my place. If you've met me, you know how I feel about people who have mental stutters and open their mouth and speak in my direction. It's ill-advised. It's ill-advised. You don't piss off poets, you just don't do it. So I figured it would be fun to have some of my folks come together and respond to how we feel about people telling us to stay in our place. And, you know, let's set the conversation a little bit tighter too. How about, it's interesting when I look around at our United States and how people have chosen to behave. We are a lot less cordial with one another. We are a lot less patient. And in our impatience and rudeness, some of us have lost our mind to the point of thinking that we are the center of the earth. It revolves around us and everything must go our way. And when it doesn't, we have tantrums. So I dedicate this show to all you confused people who get out of your place and out of your mouth with people just doing their daily life. Good evening, Sophia. Hey, beautiful. So cheers to you, and I'm hoping that you listen real closely as some of my poetic friends who are amazing kind of help you understand what it looks like to stay in your place. We're going to pause for some commercials and get that out the way, and then we're jumping right into poetry. Be back in a second. I'm waiting on Troy. A moment, please. He's almost there. There we go.
I'm a little slow on the game today, most definitely.
No worries.
So we're going to go ahead and take care of the Blast Artist Spotlight right now?
All of it. Just after this, we're just going bell, poetry.
I got you.
And then we'll have a conversation at the end.
Okay. Well, the beautiful thing is I definitely handpicked this song just for you. There's a good friend of mine. No. There's a good friend of mine who's actually watching now. Her name is B. Cherise, representing Baltimore. And this is her song called It's My Life. Let's check it out.
No matter what you think about me, you can't stop me. I work harder, it's my life. Oh yeah. I'm on the job, I'm out here grinding. You can't stop me, I work harder. It's my life. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I see them haters on my back, but I'm staying right. word, do you agree? No matter what you think about me, you can't stop me. I work harder, it's my life. Oh yeah. I'm on the job, I'm on here grinding. You can't stop me. I work harder, it's my life. I've been praying for this all my life. Not giving up, will continue to fight. Not backing down no matter what you say. I will declare it all in Jesus' name. Think about me, you can't stop me. I work harder, it's my life. Oh yeah. I'm on the job, I'm on here grinding. You can't stop me. I work harder. It's my
And that is my homie B. Sharice with It's My Life. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or an up and coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, you can also go to blastmusic247.com, register as an unlimited fan, and have access to hundreds of independent music. Blast, we're constantly changing the industry, one artist at a time. All right, Miss Malikia, back to you.
Thank you. So let's get into this poetry. And I'm going to push a mystical magical button. I am learning these buttons, you guys. Today is the day. Let's go. Hey, how are you?
Hey, partner, how are you?
I'm laughing because I'm a true squirrel. I waved my hand and it disappeared, so that was fun. And I'm like, let's do it again. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Brief intro and hit your poetry.
You got it. Scott Harrell, a.k.a. Father Time, co-founder of Partners in Rhyme, where you can find me every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Clubhouse and Lyrical Vibes with none other than Malikia K. Courtney. My piece tonight is Stay in Your Place. Someone once said to me, stay in your place. Oh, Lord. I took a minute to consider the appropriate mental felony to respond with, and then it came to me. You'll need to be a little bit more specific, I said, with a smile, causing the quizzical response of, what do you mean? Well, you see, mathematically speaking, out of 8 billion people taking an average of 5,200 steps and walking roughly 2 miles per day around the circumference of a planet measuring 24,901 mile, that means we're all in motion, like an ocean. Historically speaking, my people were forced to cross in the bellies of ships tossed, on waves tossed, names lost, value broken down to the cost of slave labor, yes, property, all done legally. So legally speaking, I am the genetic recipient of stolen property, which must mean someone needs to prosecute me because I crossed the red line that defines where mine should find their place, their space to let life waste away behind the lines or end up in an outline of chalk while the church prays, because spiritually speaking, this is where the truth lays. Jesus didn't have blue eyes. The blonde hair, another lie. How could Africa be where faith begins, yet you deny all of its melanin? And when it comes to heaven, you hope I ain't getting in. The last gated community, true to be what you knew it to be, exclusivity, and yet expanding your learned lessons to have so many heavens. You call out 7 with a cattle on 1,000 hills. I don't think your plans are stopping but the God in me thinks you need a good molly-whopping. Because scientifically speaking, the same atoms in me were amongst the stars, the same blood that flows in me once healed scars. The breath in me was a breeze over wars or a rainbow on a plain. Yes, a hurricane and I are one and the same. I share molecules with the multitudes. I receive ancestral epiphanies I still use. I am a 400-year-old bomb with a lit fuse. I am a presidential potential while fitting a profile suspiciously succeeding all the while. I am the very hope and defiance of slaves, the historical outcome of Black soldiers who were brave, the spark lit by many luminaries robbed of opportunity, but not their minds. I am royalty loyally protecting the kingdoms I call mine. The God in me stirs and gives all my enemies pause. Consider your words well, or fully ensure your jaw. My steps are ordered wherever I go, no matter the time or place. So when you say stay in your place, just know every place is mine. Sanctuary.
The moment
Thank
you
you,
know, the moment you know you're glad you're on mute because you can't say those words on. Deuces. I'll call you back up when we're done. Next to the stage, I have the wonderful Mike Gwynn, and I'm just going in order of arrival. So, Mike, come on up, introduce yourself. How are you?
I am good. I was driving. I said, let me pull over real quick. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, we'll let Mike pull over real quick because we want you safe. That's rule number one.
I'm safe now.
Okay, that's what's up. Go ahead and introduce yourself and let the people know where to meet and connect with you, and then go ahead and share that poetry, and then we're going to keep it moving.
Okay. My name is Mike Gwynn. I am here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Just got off work. You can find me just by Googling my name, Mike Gwynn, Guinn. That's it. Okay. The title of this piece is called, well, you'll see. I see myself, a metaphor of see-through mirrors and broken promises. My story is my own. I'm an immigrant granted access to excess at the expense of the masses. I've convinced myself that this is mine, all mine, and I belong here. Using a language foreign to my future, I've carved out this colonized corner with chaos, cotton, and confusion. This illusion is a fusion of fact and fiction, not to mention dissension. This is colonialism at its finest, y'all, and I belong here. And it's not my fault. I'm just a beautiful little white boy playing with red crayons, drawing black lines in Native American dirt beneath crooked blue sky. Like any human commodity, value declines with time, and now you are all just political liabilities. And like any other red-blooded patriot, I have mastered the art of keeping a tidy slaughterhouse. I can't help myself. I see beauty in things you can't begin to fathom. Do you know where your daddy is? Yes, we are all living in this land, but make no mistake about it, this is my country, and facts are not brown, not black, just odd stacked. I just want to play. Won't you come play with me in this sandbox of democracy? You won't need heritage, lineage, or legacy. Just get used to these blue knees and try to breathe as you bleed from our greed. I am a walking contradiction, so go back to the country I stole you from. Go back to the neighborhood I put you in. Go back across the red line I drew with my own Republic pen. Stay in your place. This planet is my magic place. See, there is nothing for you here except a glimpse of utopia. We shall overcome. We already did. You. Can I change? Do I even want to? Hell no. Forgive me, but this is playtime, baby. We are all actors playing our parts, living this American dream, enjoying the perks of white privilege. And I can't help myself. And don't you wish you could be a beautiful little white boy like me? Sanctuary.
So glad my mic is closed. I'm over here saying explicative. Sanctuary. I'm gonna put you down and I'll bring you back up when we're done with that round. Woo. Coming to the mic to express what she feel about this here, right here. Rare epiphany. Or I should say it this way, like we said in poetry. She came to me like a rare epiphany. I do see a spin. So if she's gonna spin, I'm gonna put her back down and let her reboot that and bring up Sunshine. Sunshine, what's going on with you? Surprise. Peace to you too, but you're muted, beautiful. I can't hear a thing you saying, love.
I saw her spinning, so I already knew what you was going to do.
Yeah. We keep it moving. We keep the grass green over here. Yes, we do. How you doing, love?
I'm trying to trip.
You Gucci?
I'm good.
Okay, that's what's up. Introduce yourself, let the people know how to find you, and go ahead and hit that poetry.
Oh, peace. This is Sunshine, Shine Vibrations. I am also part of Blast Music 24/7. I have a show Friday night, 7 p.m. So check me out, and let's get to this poetry. Life changes are not for the meek. Each new hurdle or obstacle some think are designed to make us weak. Your cipher begins to dwindle. Folks reveal they all about the next swindle, moving like Jack because you got to be nimble. These agents, representatives, and shadows are quick to make you the next Vic. Succumb to their tricks, talking and moving real slick. Literally trading tears for fears because everybody wants to rule the world. Or at least yours, that is. Roe versus Wade, the start of us being played. Right to complete privacy. Will it all soon fade? Are we going to ever feel comfortably safe? Standing tall, shoulders back, chin up, striving to save face, internally battling feelings of disgrace, analyzing how the fuck I end up in this space. Life changes are not for the meek. Each new hurdle or obstacle some think are designed to make us weak. It's to make you dig deep, deep within your energy, traveling through layers of you, recognizably from your sleep. The cerebral cortex is vexed, exhausted from the battling of convincing your thoughts ain't the enemy, it's the enemy, wanting to break free from stifling relationships, suffocating, suppressing everything I was created to be, sabotaging goals and dreams, my future reality. Life changes are not for the meek. Each new hurdle or obstacle some think are designed to make us weak. It's rattling, unbeknownst complacency. Take it from me and get free.
I'm over here talking on mute. Oh, the experiences. I can't wait to get to the conversation, but let's try Rare Epiphany one more time, and then I'm just going to bring everybody up, and we're going to kick off some conversation about you guys' pieces. 1 moment, please. Oh, I still don't see Rare. Okay. So definitely going to wait until I can see her before I bring her back up. You guys, I am enjoying this poetry. You guys are amazing poets. So let's go ahead and welcome you back to the stage. And Scott, I brought you back up. I got my Sunshine. And Mike, I know you are driving. So I want you to stay driving and be safe. You're welcome to open your mic and participate in conversation when you would like to. But first of all, can I just say around the other way too? Just a round of applause. Like, you guys, it's a what's nuts is I didn't even have to explain much. Like when I asked you guys to come together and share these thoughts, I didn't have to say much because living in this skin, it almost seems like it comes with a set of imposed rules or imposed behaviors. And I know I ain't the only one that experiences it. It's a collective experience. So we're going to do it PIR style and talks the mic up. What prompted you to write? Well, I know what prompted you guys to write those pieces? What is life like in this beautiful melanated skin for you?
You know me, I stand by for ladies first.
That's because you're a gentleman and it's beautiful to see.
Well, this piece actually is about to be an anniversary. Inked July 9th of 22. And this is when I started to reflect that the current relationship that I was in was being more detrimental to me than adding on like it was supposed to be.
Okay.
So, yeah, that just, as the awakening was happening, it got the click, click, clicking, and then the pen and the fingers just went the tapping and scribbling. So, you know.
So you over here unlocking key codes because it's like you unlock the door to the woman side of things, because not only do we have to deal with the melanin of it, then we got to deal with the woman side of it. Like, how much exactly do folks expect us to tolerate? So I'm gonna pause for a second and I'll ask Scott, where did you draw your inspiration from for that piece?
Well, when I received the prompt, the first thing that it clearly made me think about was how many different layers in society, or in our lives as melanated people, if you would, that there are places that people expect us to be.
Mm-hmm.
And the place that we want to be, the place that they expect us to be, the place that we have been historically, and the place that the line that keeps getting pushed back. Whether or not we're talking about financially, where we're talking about the redlining, legally, where we're talking about the chalk outlining, whether or not we're talking about, the spiritually, where the Jesus is in blue-eyed and blonde hair, or the melanin that's being denied, that has been repeatedly denied in the Bible, let alone faith overall, or many other places. When I heard stay in your place, the crazy thing about it is that place, first of all, we're too big to stay in one place, number one, but that place not only is so small, but it's also a moving target, because you can never be, it's never good enough to anybody else for you to be in the place that you are. You eventually are going to bother somebody and they want you to stay in another place, which when I look back, historically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
I think for our ancestors, that was also an unspoken driving force, because they would try to quote unquote be good, but it was never good enough.
No.
We'll just do our thing over here, away from y'all, so that we're not bothering y'all. Oh, wait a second, they're being way too successful. Let's bomb the hell out of them or flood their whole city. Oh my God. Exactly. So that is what came to my mind, all the different spaces that people have told us to stay in. And in reality, every place is ours.
I love your piece. Like your final line was absolutely just fire. Like, and I have to say that truly is my response to it. Like, what do you mean your place? When I look at my womanhood, when I understand the origin of life and where the oldest everything is found, down to civilization, down to mathematics, down to birth. How about your DNA, buddy? I am your mama. And that's how I feel about it. Respect your mother. And I know that's that's something that's going to be a to come piece. Like, literally, respect your mother. That's what I perceive to be a lot of part of the problem. People have lost freaking respect, basic respect. And it comes with all of the lies, like the things that you guys were sharing in your pieces. I don't. It's unfortunate, and I can't say that I understand it, nor do I care to understand it. What I would like to understand is the path to correct it. And I gotta say that, okay, I'm getting messages while we're doing this too, but either how, it's interesting, because that's a fair word, because it's some doo-doo cock-a-poo-poo, if you ask me, but it's interesting some of these interactions I've seen this week with quote unquote Karens. And one of the ones that I saw that made me scratch my head, y'all, made me scratch my head. This lady, and I'm just calling her lady to be polite. This female, it doesn't show what happened prior, I don't know, but it was enough to prompt the gentleman to record her. So she's trying to force him to turn it off, and she's saying things to him like, turn it off or I'm gonna. And the threats are continuing. And one of the threats was like, I'm going to punch the shit out of you. Literally what she's saying to this man. And she balls up her fist and she yapped. Okay. The next thing you see is the camera kind of, and then it pans to her on the ground. Now, you know, he put her on her behind. We don't have to guess. You know, she got knocked on her behind. And I'm not a fan of guys hitting girls, but my mama taught me to keep my hands to myself. What are your thoughts on that, Sunshine? Your mic is muted, babe.
I had this conversation already with my royals. There was literally a situation like this, but luckily it was the last time because I just made my presence felt at the bus stop. So mama and daddy got to see what I look like in the flesh. And I was standing there with that, yeah, try it. Because I'm definitely the one you want.
I wish a wood face?
Yeah, you don't want to teach your little girl how to be a young lady.
Wow.
And
that's a dirty word these days, though, right?
Your daughter on how to not put her hands on men if she don't want to get it back.
Right.
So let her and her brother watch both of y'all get it.
And I'm one of those humans who kind of feel like when the parents, we'll get to that in a second. I'm moving to
discipline.
Because if you're not about to handle it with your kid, it's not about to hit nobody's kid, but you and I might have to have a couple of conversations.
That's right.
This couple. Because that don't make no sense. It really just doesn't. I see my rare epiphany made it here. So what I'm going to do is bring her up and invite her to share some poetry and then join the conversation as well. So we're all going to keep her company. Just please keep your mic closed while she's sharing her poetry so we don't interrupt. And Mike Wynn, you know the drill as well. Hi, Rare Epiphany. How are you?
Hello. Yeah, my internet did not like it in here, so I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad it was her. And what I will do is we're going to give you the microphone to share who you are, how to connect with you, and then your poetry, and then we'll join back into the conversation.
Okay. My name is Rare Epiphany. I am in Atlanta. My social media is Rare Epiphany. On IG, Rare Epiphany on TikTok. You're going to see a lot of food, a lot of funny, and a lot of poetry. Okay. And here we go. I followed myself, led astray way too many times, trying to find my way to a place I'd never been, a place I never knew was in me. Kept eyes trained externally, wandering aimlessly behind reflections of the broken parts of me, always ending where I'd begun. Spun the block more times than I want to admit, hamster wheeling this zombie apocalypse of an existence, insistent on crazy, on the insanity of doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a result to be different. I should have paid attention in geometry. The game of quadre would have brought me to my destination quicker, a direct path, then I wouldn't have to deal with the aftermath of low fuel lights, of tires with worn tread after driving all night repeatedly down dead-end streets lined with the shards of other people's shattered dreams. Off-roading, it seems like fun until you are flung in the air like a rag doll along with all you got left. Found myself cascading towards a landing bereft of softness and safety net, willing to break my neck to get to a me that ain't even real, ain't even appealing, selling myself cheap like sheep being led obliviously to slaughter for folks to barter off the diamonds I never knew were in my coal. God have mercy on my soul. I didn't know. I just needed to turn around, look inwardly, and there would be found the GPS my creator planted way down on my inside before I was ever a gleam in my father's eye or a miracle in my mother's womb. I assumed I was lost whenever I was standing still, could not comprehend how hard it is to fill a moving vessel, that there are lessons nestled in the crevices of silence, in the stillness, in the quiet. Don't know why it took me so long to recognize the me I am becoming on the inside. She's been in these eyes all along. I can hear her song clear, strong, guiding me to where I belong. I will lead myself home. I followed myself home. Epiphanies.
I wish I had something to throw. Y'all can open up your mic. I wish I had something to throw. You stir my belly. You make my chest hurt when you speak. When you said that part about the silence, I'm just like, oh my God, there's so much that goes on in the silence. It hurts so bad. And we stay silent. Like when I was younger, I had this ignorant heifer. This has been going on for a while. But the comments, like my responses, I was not that human to begin with. I was young. And I had some of my babies young. And I had this one ignorant heifer. I know this lady from Adam. I was downtown handling my business, and she paused and was in my face. I dropped something, so I bent down to pick it up, and she had bent down to pick it up too. And then I guess she just needed to know, was I their mother? And I'm like, yeah. Oh, you've been busy, bitch. I mean, lady, who are you? You know, like,
you had it right the first time.
Presumptiveness, like she had a right. And I don't understand when we got to the point where we felt like we had a right to have so much input on a life that we didn't damn create. That blows my mind. Y'all could jump in because you already know. Get me started, damn it. I'm started. Rare Epiphany got it started up in this bitch. Let's go. I'm gonna kick something. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, like I feel some kind of way. I'm listening. I see Mike joined us. Hey, Mike, what's going on? What's on your mind?
Well, can I add on to what you just said?
Please do. This is a conversation. We can conversation style. Let's go.
So I get both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the reframing of the mind, looking at it. Trust me, I am with you 110% in what you said. Yet at the same time, being exposed to the elder women in my families, my grandfather's mother and her sisters. That was what the village did, the community.
Yes.
But the problem is, and I find me at 43, my age group does not know that generation like I do.
That's true.
And their parents barely even connect with that generation. So the disconnect is understanding where it comes from. Grandma's is 36 now.
You ain't never lied.
So that wisdom of being able to break things down, to shower you with some stuff that's supposed to propel you forward in life, that is really like, don't get me on my soapbox, but us right now as a people, as a nation, that is one of the major links that's missing.
I agree.
But people yet still need to remember, check your tongue. When it's a stranger that does not know you and they don't know you from Adam, Eve, Steve, or whoever,
Adam, Eve, Steve.
It's not meant for you to speak on.
Right.
It's not your place unless they are part of your direct village.
So I'm gonna jump right on that if I can. One of the things that drives me bananas, drives me crazy. If you ever want to see all the nerves on me stand up at attention at the exact same time, just utter the phrase, "Oh, they're just that way."
Ooh.
I can't stand that sentence. And I've lived that life for a very long time. And so I am divorced, okay? And that my ex, Jamaican, and the culture that she came from, and the church community especially she came from, the people there had no problem. A criticism, and I mean a cutting criticism, was just as easy as the equivalent of a hello.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm not that one. And there are many a times, there are many a problem, because I was more than happy to be the Black American who made an issue because things were being said that were out of order and out of pocket. And one of the things I believe, regardless of if it's a stranger or if it's that 99-year-old person in the family, One of the reasons why they are the way they are is because nobody checks them.
Yep.
So, as much as I believe in respecting your elders, there also is a point of respecting yourself, where if someone is out of pocket, regardless of who they are, they need to be told. Because if they're not told, they're going to get bold and believe that's okay. And they're going to be the ones who are sitting at Thanksgiving table talking about, oh, why did you have so many kids and why'd you lose your job? And, this one coming in here with a ring in their nose and they haven't paid a bill and blah, blah. And just feeling okay about it when the true one who's there, who's the most messy, is them. I'll get off my soapbox for now.
I appreciate your soapbox. And Mike, you're welcome to open your mic and add your input, because I do see you there. You Gucci? Okay, he said he good. All right, so Red Epiphany, talk to me about your piece.
And
she giggles.
Of course. I do a lot of prompt writing. And it was really about, the prompt was, I followed myself. And there's so many things and people and ideologies and things that we follow looking for something they really can't give you, right? Your identity, finding your identity in other people's opinions of what it is.
Sure.
And not really getting to the point, like people tell you you're something so much and so long that you start to believe it. Right. And they relegate you to this space, this time, this job, this whatever, and you believe it. And you do it. You live in it like you created it, like it was your destiny. And you never asked the one who made you. You never looked in yourself and tried to figure out what it was. You just did what everybody else told you were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. You were what everybody else said you were supposed to be. And it was kind of a thing of you allowed somebody to put you in your place, and it ain't your place. Yeah. And having to figure out how to follow.
Rewind that line and say it one more time for the people in the back.
You allowed somebody to put you in your place, and it's not your place. We be ushering in authority to people that don't understand how to use it.
That's it.
We just give people power.
She preaching.
Yes, she is. And it's these are things that must be said. Like, and you got come off your microphone too, Sunshine. You don't have to be on there. If you have a quiet background, feel free to have your mic open. These are the things that must be said, because it's gone too dang on far. It's gone too dang on far. And what I'm watching happen is the reimmersion of stupidity, like amok. And if we do not have these kinds of spaces, if we do not speak up collectively about it, then we are to endure it. And I am a person who believes that when you're silent, that is a silent yes. Because there is no such thing as a silent no. I have yet to come across a silent no. But you damn sure got a silent yes. Okay? So, and I love what you pointed out too, Scott, about the elders. Some of the elders are working from such bitterness and working from such a place of, I almost said something really terrible, from a place that is so reflective of enslavement. Okay, still working with those type of mindsets and behaviors, like they have to snatch the children, they gotta beat the children to have them behave a certain way so they don't die, right? And we still, to a dang on degree, are dealing with what we have to teach our melanated babies so that they can go into the world and have jobs, buy homes, be in their apartment, jog, drive, just the simple things that we have to prepare ourselves for. And then with all these things still in place in 2024, I have some people who will look me in my face and say, racism is dead. It doesn't exist anymore.
You know what I think,
Yes.
Malikia? I think we've arrived at a place in time in society because of social media, Google, access to so much information and 24/7 news and everything else,
Sure.
that it is more important to have an opinion than intelligence.
Honest to God. Facts.
Sounds like you know something.
Facts.
There was once upon a time. Now, a lot of people talk about how, back in the 20s and the 30s, you saw the jazz and the Renaissance era where people would go dress up and go out, but they didn't just do that. They went to places to have conversation as well. I mean, there were the luminaries of the time, and you would go and hear them speak or have debates and discussions and such. We are at a time where everyone wants to have an opinion, but no one wants to have knowledge.
Yep. Hot mess on the platter. You hit that hard. You hit that hard. Continue.
Well, I mean, the level of not only study and time and actually, doing the work yourself so you can actually find out what you're talking about, let alone what you're interested in, as opposed to carrying somebody else's water to make other people wet to show that you can make it rain. It doesn't make any sense to me. And that is why half the time I don't even bother discussing with some of the people who want to debate, because it's like, I don't know, shadow box and a paper tiger. They have nothing behind them. It doesn't make any sense.
Shadow box and a paper target.
That's what that is.
Go ahead, Robert.
This is how I make sense of it, Scott, right? So this is the mixoplex kind of world we're dealing with, right? Wow. Is that one, if I say it loud enough, it must be true. Two, if I get two more people to say it loud enough, it's gotta be true. But what happened is we saw it unfold during the Trump election, right? What it is this.
Dirty word.
We had so much facts.
Please go ahead.
Put into a book, right? We had so many facts that we were teaching children in school that were not facts, right? So many facts being taught as facts that people stopped trusting facts. People started trusting gut. What we have is a balance issue, right? We don't have discernment. We can't discern truth from fiction, whether it's in a book and we learned it or whether we heard it on the street. We can't trust any source, so we don't necessarily want to get off our lazy asses and figure out there's this story, there's that story, and then there's the truth. Let me figure out what the truth is. Now, we just want to go with whatever it came up off our gut. We're going to say that because we trust ourselves way more than we trust everything else around us. We got a balance issue. We got a discernment issue. And because you find one untruth, they throw out the baby with the bathwater, right? I can read this book and there's one thing in this book that is not true. I'm going to discount the entirety of the book. I find one piece of truth in something else, and I'm going to make that the bastion of intellect. There's no compare and contrast.
I love that. And I'm going to ask you this question then.
Can I add on to that?
Oh, go ahead. And then the question on the floor that all three of y'all going to get, all four of y'all, is what are the solutions? So go ahead and add on to it.
Well, maybe my response, my add-on is maybe also like a solution. Okay. Because I felt everything Scott and Rare said, especially Rare, because I had this conversation with my great aunt a lot. And we all come from the era of study. Mm-hmm. All of us on here, we come from the era of study. That's true. We were always told, well, I know I was, that even if you was in church listening to the pastor, you better search and seek for yourself and not listen to that man on the podium. So a skill because of technology that has been lost and taken away is that cognitive exercise where you actually touch the pages to the book and read and research for the information. So when they don't operate in that space anymore, this is part of what you get. All the information, whether it's true or not, is right at a fingertip. There's really no way to do the whole exercise of gaining the discernment from what you read because you Google it, you find it, and you on to the next.
But and if I may, Maliki, and then I would love for you to
Yes,
pose
of
your
course.
question as well. I
And we
see
have a couple more people joining us, just so you know. Go ahead.
with what Ray just said, or with what Rare just said, excuse me, Rare, and Sunshine, I see what you both said, and I'll raise you one because I feel as if there's been a double homicide. You know, it's not just the fact that, you know, fact and discernment is living in a chalk outline. They've also taken truth, all of truth. You know, the linchpin of, at least if you have truth, you have a place where you can start from. Now, things that we've known as truth is malleable in what you feel, what you think, and this, that, and the other, or what you're saying in the moment. And you know, even speaking in that vein, I may be riding up against a line of getting canceled, God forbid, but you start in one area and it just bleeds out. And now the question is no longer what is fact, but what is true. And if what is true is for whatever, if it's about your truth or my truth or his truth or her truth, what is truth?
Right.
You know, if truth is individual, then collectively it's a lie.
And I agree. And it's and we do know that, politically speaking, there was a literal financed campaign to confuse and remove truth. We do know that. So this is not unintentional. And with that thought, we're going to pause right here for a moment and then welcome Mahogany Soul to the conversation. Hello, hello, hello. How are you? I see your beautiful face, but I don't hear your lovely voice.
Is she on mute on her side?
Oh, you must be mute on your side because it's not on the this end. We're working on our technical difficulties. And just speak, like, whenever you get it clear, just go ahead and speak up, and then I'll know I can hear you. In the meantime, we're going to continue a conversation. So what I would say is, I remember, like, when you track the agendas, do you track the agendas? I don't know. I'm a blurred for real. So I track the agendas, and I recall, and boy, this is going to be something right here, but we say it anyway. I recall when the campaign for homosexuality kicked in. And I recall when it was directed at our community. Okay. And I recall and that was another stay in your place, but only let me create this place because I would like you to stay here. I would like for the men to be emasculated, have less voice and less presence in the home. And not to say that it kicked off here, because we know it kicked off prior, but the campaigning of it. And do I have anything against homosexuality? Absolutely freaking not. But I'm not blind either, and I'm not dumb either. And anytime when you're telling babies that they're gay, they are not even sexually aware or having any type of sex or at a position where they can choose any of that stuff. And then we have the buy-in from parents who are going and having sex changes or name changes with children. You don't lost your damn mind, and ain't nobody in your life to tell you the truth. So your point, Scott, what you were saying, when folks get into the your truth, their truth, my truth, and here's something crazy. Now let's tell the truth about the matter. Let's talk about it, because we do. And the point was, we all do the same stuff. We all have pockets and places and books and cups where we expect people to fit. It is not a black and white issue only. No, we all have our own opinions, especially about the people who are in our lives and around us, right? But some of us just have more discipline to keep our mouths closed because our parents taught us better. Shut up. Okay, some folks ain't got no home training, and that's just really what it boils down to. Edwina, is your mic working?
Can you hear
Yep,
me now?
I can hear
Okay.
you.
Woo!
Yeah,
Okay,
it's good to hear you.
Lita!
welcome.
Lita!
So, what's going to occur
Mahogany
is
soul.
Mahogany. So, we're going to welcome you to share who you are, introduce yourself, let the people know where to find you, and share poetry. And I will ask that everybody mutes up while she shares her poetry and speaks.
Oh, share poetry now?
Yep, because then we can jump it back into this good conversation. So this is how we do
Oh,
this.
oh,
Let's go.
okay.
Everybody else done
Oh
hit.
no.
Okay, anybody playing? I'll be about that life around here. So it's a fun time.
Okay. Well, I am Edwina Simmons, and I um, go by Mahogany Soul Poetically. You can find me at my Mahogany Soul on Instagram. Edwina the author is my website, and yeah, I like to write poetry, and was told to bring something about being in a space where you didn't feel welcome. So this piece is called "Girl from the Goo." When they see you move, there's a hush in the room. I wish they knew how to quiet like you. Girl from the goo, you were learning. You were watching their moves and trying to comprehend their rules, amazed by their ways, enthusiastically enjoying their brilliant displays. And now they're quiet. But you know, the silence has quite a lot to say. It says there's a chance they are listening at least. The likes never did speak louder than the views, and they ain't never liked you. You ain't never really sat where the cool kids do. Tried to align with a few, but the exchange felt a little like rape. And when you're triggered, they mistake your distance for antisocial and indignant. Even then, you began again. You studied up, made your bed and your table, even fed a few of them. But your strength has always had to do. You've learned to do your own thing, all the while quietly learning a thing or two about how to smooth it down until it's your own brand of music. See, they've all been your music and muses. And besides, you felt alone all the while. So the quiet and your own thing is still the only thing you know. But someone once told you the only one that doesn't know what you are capable of is you. If there was a fool in the room, it certainly wasn't you. You were A1 to them no matter what grade they gave you. A student is never foolish. A student is learning. See, they mistake your Sigma soul for an introvert pushover, but let them know. Raise your voice, but make good points. See, they quiet, but if you're listening, you'll condition yourself to realize that you brought that quiet with you. You made your own audience. Now all that's left to do is to say something. Show them what a girl with a mouth like a gun can do in a room full of quiet liars talking about you. So they still gonna talk about you when you leave, but grown girl, some of them are listening. So while they're quiet, pretend the silence is a riotous round of applause that you gave it your all. After all, that's all you ever even showed up for, was to give it your all like you always wished you could. So trust yourself with the safety off your lips, and please, by any means, speak the fuck up while they're quiet. And that's the piece.
Come on, talk your slang. I love it. We have used quite a few potty words this trip, and I'm okay with that.
I'm sorry. It's like
Oh, we're
seasoning. I'm
look,
sorry.
please. You use the right words. We were already seeing some explicatives, because it's such an impassioned conversation. Like it's so we were discussing just how this is showing up, the stay in your place mindset. We were discussing how we got here, and I love your piece, like the way you break it down, and it's so freaking true. People are watching. Folks are constantly paying attention, and ooh,
I
Rip,
forgot
rip.
how to work the buttons.
teamwork, dream work. There
He
we
had
go.
to take over when he had to bounce out.
I'm rolling because I sure learned what the buttons were, so I was pushing them too. Okay, girl. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I got you back.
Thank you. Listen, ain't nothing like having a team in the room. Stop playing. I got a second grown up. Let's go. Okay. So I figured out the buttons. I was like, okay, I know how to push this one. But so this conversation that you've joined in, that's the part where we are. And I would like to know, one, what was going on that in that space that was clear that even caused you to write a pin like that, like to pin a piece, because it was very direct, and we can tell, we can path the behaviors of who was acting out by
Mm-hmm.
listening to your piece, but it still doesn't tell me how you were able to identify what was going on. So let me ask that question, because some of us may not be able to identify when we're dealing with the silent shooter
Mm-hmm.
or the passive aggressive shooter who wants us
Mm-hmm.
to stay in our place that they magically created for us in their own dang on head. We supposed to figure out and fall in the cup. So talk to
Mm.
me about that.
Well, I go through the titles of the books that I've written. The one that's coming up is called Circles for Squares.
Mhm.
And it's basically what it's talking about. And Pronoia is the book that I have currently coming out. And that's about understanding that, things are actually working out for you. And if you believe, and you have to, there's a place where you have to believe in yourself. And I think we have almost made to believe that speaking too highly of yourself is a negative thing. But like the whole thing that I'm coming to terms with is like, that is the foundation of most things, is how
Mm,
you regard yourself, because everything else that you experience is a reflection of how
right.
you see yourself. And I think that I was listening as I was in the background of how the conversation is going. And I think that, yeah, I think it is an epidemic level of like almost narcissism that's being fed to the masses, where it's almost like, this outside of yourself regard of your esteem. And it's
Sure.
always looking to something or someone else to be impressive, and not to say that they are influential or impactful, just impressive. And then you're following them. And then the language is almost as if it's like, everything is out, everything that you regard is beyond you. And I think that the nature of what I am writing through is just the understanding that it starts a lot inside of you. And if you don't start there, everything else is just a false creation, because you're just like, you know, and then I think most people actually regard themselves that way. It's like you putting lipstick on a pig and you feel it. And that's where that false sense of self comes from, because you're building the outside, but you're not really regarding, you don't really have a value system in yourself that is impenetrable to any outside influence. And I
Mm,
think most kids nowadays, I look at where a lot of kids are coming from and what they're going through and what their main influences are. And I'm like, before you can tell a person to believe in God or to believe in a institution of any sort, you have to really get them to believe that they are important enough to have, the force the discipline enough to get into the patterns of behavior, to stand up against those places where going
absolutely.
along with what's going on is like the easiest thing to do. It's like, yeah, it's a knowledge, a knowing of self that I think we fundamentally need to reteach and reinstitutionalize. It's not, reinstitute. It's not being taught enough
I'm
in the
hollering.
household, because mommy popping that, like, just like they're telling kids not to.
Not popping that.
But I'm saying, like,
I do understand. I fully
yeah,
understand.
it's like
I get it.
there was before they used to be like, everyone has their sides of things that they did, good,
Mhm.
bad, or otherwise, but you had decorum or
Mhm.
respect for what was being shown before it was time for it to be shown. There was a
Mhm.
sense of class, or a sense
Yes, it
of the way
was.
that you should hold
Courtesy.
yourself, which again goes back to that believing that you are worthy of more than just to be something to look at in order to be impressive. And yeah,
I'm
I
rolling
think
because like
that's
you're
what it.
rolling my head because like literally
Yeah,
that's the next place that we were going,
yeah.
because when you bring in the religion component, because I believe,
Mhm,
no, now let's tell some tea. The tea is, I heard the statement "stay in your place" when I was a child. It was
mhm,
not from an outsider; it was right in my home,
mhm,
and I was taught the place of a lady, a woman, a female, a wife. So roles, 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 right? And there was no the lessons were learned on the back end of things. I crossed a boundary, bop, bop, you backed up over that boundary, as opposed to laid out in certain things, mind you, my people detailed. But there
mhm,
were some things that did not come through or did not land. Okay. And I find that a lot of the things that we traipse forward, and Scott, you did bring that up earlier too, when you were speaking about blonde hair and blue eyes, we have been offered that as conversation. And then I think it was Shine too that said that we literally are accepting it as ours and it ain't. We want our place, and Rare Epiphany also said the same. So coming from this corner, we get it, but I still do feel like the religious impression has really impressed upon us. I love what you shared, Mahogany. So like we really have fallen away from that self system of morality, the self systems, the self disciplines. And when I'm teaching in my 3-day event, like I hammer so hard on identity because that is the case. And when we do connection, so I work with some spiritual people, right? And they have all these titles and da 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 da. I don't move in titles, I just get the work done. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what I said was, and it was highly offensive apparently, but I can't help that because I'm just gonna be me. What I said was reconnect to you first, then seek to reconnect to God. And oh my God, the flag, the pushback. Well, I don't give a rat's ass. This is my demo, my business, my company. This how it's going to be because this is the wisdom that I see. And I fully believe it lands on that. How are you going to reconnect to a God that you won't even acknowledge exists in you? How?
Really? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I see Mike is in a nice, comfortable position. You are welcome to the microphone to share your thoughts, sir. No oye nada. You might be muted on your end. We don't hear you. Okay, we won't let Mike tap. I see him tapping. But at the same time, so these are the thoughts that kind of just loom. So we're looking. Oh, and I had questions too. Yes, I did.
We have someone in the backstage.
I don't see. Is it Sion?
Yep.
Please bring him up. I just don't see him. I was waiting for him to come. Hello. Oh, we just popped you up and you disappeared. Hallelujah. Hey, bro. I didn't know you were there because how do I see him?
Oh, you might need to scroll down because now we got a lot of people on there.
Okay. My apologies. How long were you waiting?
Not long at all.
Okay, good. Because I did not know you were there, but I knew you were coming, so we baked a cake.
Thank you.
Called us. Welcome. Please introduce yourself to the people briefly. And I'm going to ask everyone to mute up for a second while Sion SN Verse shares his piece of poetry. And then we're going back to this great conversation and we're going to wrap up soon because we are truly at the hour.
Yeah, this was wonderful. And I really want to make sure that I came through. So just give me a second here. Let me just shut my TV off in the background. Because I know it can be a little bit.
I can't translate into background.
Whoop. I know it can be a little bit distracting. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you fine.
Okay.
And we don't hear the TV.
No, because Siri did something.
We heard Siri too. Good.
All right. So I'm a poet, an artist, a writer, just an all-around creative. I chose the mess in verse because it all begins with verse. I really appreciate Malikia and Scott and this entire community. So thank you for giving me some time on your airwaves, and I will go ahead and read my piece now. Since I was encouraged to talk about identity, I'm going to read something that I recently wrote and published in a 3-part poem. And if you are looking for my work, you can find me on Instagram, and if you are interested in my audio poetry and want to support financially without breaking out your checkbook, by all means do check out my work on Apple Music and all of your streaming platforms. All right, so that's, now that the introduction is out of the way, I have the piece here, and generally I like to give my titles at the end, so here we go. Dear albinism, it took me years of stacked minutes to wipe away the tears. Tears erode into scars on my skin. Invisible scars, invisible scabs reopen. Words don't hurt, they make sharp, clumsy cuts and uneven tears. White boy calls me from my childhood like a slogan. A reminder that I am and will always be the white in the room. The sound of similarities makes no difference when you're different. White boy, you are a man now. new seasons in bloom. Albinism, you forced me to see differently and to learn to be an introvert, ignorant, knowing, uncaring, and unnurturing. Ignorance behind some's eyes. Blinded eyes see what they'll see. And sometimes things get ugly. In the blur, visions of imperfections in bathroom mirrors cry. The tears still come. The warmth of insecurity holds so snugly. Though the complexities of an inescapable complexion, I live in confrontation. My consternation asks, whose fault? Theirs, yours, or even mine? God, unpigmented, singled out among the melanated to hate my reflection. Albinism, I only saw you as a defection through shaking eyes that it wouldn't halt. That's why it's not my fault. I silently scream from the depths of my every pore. There is no fault in living the growing spectrum of my identity. Oh, skin color, fighting other people's fragility is not your chore. Oh, racism, are you there? When the time, the ism comes from your own race's enmity. So, albinism, it's time to shed the penalty of striving to be free, to escape the self-imposed penitentiary built from others' bricks. White boy, I'm sick of the white sickness and the folklore and jealousy, and I wash off the powdered, well-meaning pleasantry. Words aren't stones or sticks. The words white boy fade from my childhood, sounding clear. Don't words hurt? They make sharp, clumsy cuts and uneven tears dry into scabs on my skin. Invisible scars that close. It took me years of stacked minutes to dry away the tears. So thank you, albinism. The poem was titled Letter to Albinism.
Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Very much. Yes.
Ooh, that's a moment. That's a moment. I dropped this prompt. I think it was last week. It be your own kind. It be your front line, and that is. I can't even imagine. You know what I mean? So I'm not in your skin. I can't even imagine how it hits to be in that skin. I know what it's like for people to be, oh, white girl, da da da. But it's. I appreciate you sharing you with us in that piece. That's a crime. It's crime when we commit the crime on each other. Facts on facts. So I'm going to ask the question as if it's not obvious because there may be more behind the answer. Okay.
Absolutely.
What prompted you to pen the piece?
So every year, like June 13th is Albinism Awareness Day. And so there was an event that I was going to with a wonderful organization called Positive Exposure. It's not just albinism, it's other isms of disabilities, other things like this. But this guy is a powerhouse. It was started basically by a photographer who used to do elite fashion models. So it's not to say he wasn't making money.
Okay.
But he wanted to shine a positive light on these people. So he quit doing that literally upon meeting a girl with albinism at a bus stop. I think in like 2007 or 2006. I knew him, and he and I talked off and on since 2008. So I was going to an event there, and I want to write a piece that made me think about the day, but I wanted it to be personal and in the form of a letter, because that's kind of what the motif of a collection I'm working on is based on.
Okay.
So that's what really prompted me to do that. I'm sorry about the extremely long answer on that one, but
No, that's fine.
yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing, and that's more information than I had before. So that makes sense. I get it. I understand better. The conversation that we were having when we welcomed you to the stage, we kind of had moved on to the point of beyond discipline, beyond self-discipline, into how religion affects that mindset of stay in your place. So,
Absolutely.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, my thoughts on that is that it's a complete fact. So, those that may not know my religious persuasion is I'm Muslim, and it came from a journey that that I took years ago and experienced a lot of loss. Prior to that, it was in Catholicism, but either way, there's a lot of regimented rules. Of course, your stated rules, but then the unstated rules, and like the unstated rules are really designed to kind of not necessarily put you in a box, but be afraid to question authority, such that even Muslim scholars will not criticize. And this is mainstream I'm talking about, not talking about Nation of Islam, but even in mainstream, they will not criticize a Muslim ruler, no matter how unjust that person is.
I find that
because that's based on their based on a conservative interpretation that is partially in the mainstream. And there's like so much can be said, not just for women, but even for men, and how one conducts themselves with relation to just just other men in a way, like in Islam, like your father-in-law has a huger role than maybe your father-in-law would in another religion. But thankfully, my father-in-law is is a sweetheart and stays out of the way on things. But like religion, definitely, absolutely. And we're not talking about the spiritual belief of the religion, but we're just talking about these systems that are put in place to make you, as The Rock says, know your role and shut your mouth. And I lived in Oklahoma for a time, so of course I saw how it reverberated through the Christian communities, and whether it's a white church or a black church, they have all the different rules and regulations that have absolutely nothing to do with the book, have absolutely nothing to do with the faith, but has to do with some guy, because it's usually a guy, wanting to exercise his power, because it's usually a him.
Ooh, get him.
And that's just generally how it happens. But I'll say something that my sister, who's a feminist, says, is that while men make these rules, it's the women who enforce them.
Say it again, because it's the facts.
And you see that, because if I may, just like a little thing about that, I remember I went into a mosque at the Islamic Center and went to their prayer hall. Now, anyways, I was there. I'm washing my hands and all that. My wife had come, They're like, we like literally just come back from somewhere. So she was like borrowing a headscarf that they have there in the bin or whatever the case is, but she entered with her head uncovered. Anyway, I'm washing my hands. So then this guy comes with a very thick accent and says, "Oh, is that your wife or your girlfriend or whatever out there? Or like your wife out there?" I said, "Yeah, what of it?" "Oh, well, she's entering." I said, "Let me make you understand one fucking thing, right? Let me make you understand one fucking thing." I said, "This is America. We dress like Americans. We're out doing American things." So I said, "I need you to understand that while certain things may not be considered acceptable or be considered taboo," I said, "you have to remember that in the time of the prophet, women and men were sitting together, right?" I said, "You got to remember when people go to Hajj, women and men go together." So I said, "Don't come to me with this bullshit. And when you don't know who in the fuck I am, but I'm the guy that's going to wrap you upside your head, you come at me in this nonsense again."
Well, it just
Because
got real.
I had to defend her from that, because I realized, and I've gone in certain Muslim spaces, you go around that and any of these men play the ass with regard to your wife, then that's it. Then they're going to just keep doing that the whole time. So I had to remind them this is in fact my country and they are in fact a guest. So when I walk into that room and my wife walks into that room and will cover her head in the way that is generally customary because she was born into the faith, not me, right? The expectation is that when I'm washing my hands, you shut the fuck up with this foolishness because you don't know me from Adam. And
Well, I guess he said what he said, and that's the fact. I said, I guess he said what he said, and that's the fact. So I appreciate you sharing that, bro. That's it, and I appreciate you saying what you needed to say, because people get lost real quick. Real quick, you try to make someone stay in their place, which is what we kind of got together to talk about tonight. Now, y'all, we are way over time. I just looked at the clock; it's 9:18. So we got to do the tap dance and wrap it up. I'm going to say thank you to everyone. And I do. Mike hopped off of visuals. I'm not sure if you can even hear me, but Mike, when I did want to see if your microphone worked before we wrap up, because we didn't get to hear your thoughts, and I definitely want to give you the opportunity to share those. So, is your mic working? No. That's so weird.
It asks you a couple of times if you want to. I'm sorry to interrupt. It asks you a couple of times what your mic sound is. So just check on your mic preferences, especially if you're using Chrome.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Check your mic. I forgot about that part.
If you have an external mic, you want to make sure that it says that.
Right.
Because he was connected when he did this piece, and then once he got home, we couldn't hear him anymore.
So I wonder if he switched from phone to computer.
Bluetooth or something.
No, something in his ears.
Or as they always say in the IT department, try turning it off and turning it on again.
Well, that's true.
Well, look, it's Clubhouse. Jump in, jump back.
Hey, hula. We didn't even get to questions, so I would love to do a part 2. I do invite you guys to all, when I set up the part 2, to come back and partake in this conversation with me, because I'd like to focus more on solutions and how we can. And I can say that from what we experienced just together tonight, we can see so many areas. Like, we didn't get to necessarily turn the mirror on ourselves and confess, but I can raise my hand and say that I have definitely been that human. I was a part of the faith, and I definitely had some boxes for people to fit in, and bumped my head and had to remind myself, you bumped your head. So back it up. I heard a pop back in here. Let me see if that worked.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, grace with the voice.
All right. First of all, I want to say thank you for the platform. I appreciate it. I have enjoyed, as Scott put it, I came to get knowledge. I came to listen. Just great stuff, man. Just great stuff. I am a listener. Rare, Sunshine, Mahogany, my brother. I appreciate, just the perspective. It's funny how whenever someone say, hey, come in and the theme is stay in your place, and how we can all pull and come up with these amazing pieces that are just on point and complement the vibe. So I appreciate that. I'll say this, the poem I did, Beautiful Little White Boy, was just like Rare. I'm a prompt person. I believe in writing from prompts, and that was a prompt that I received after being in a play called "I Want to Go," and it was a play about a little black girl. Miss Denise Montgomery. She wrote a book called "I Want to Go" about that one day a year during the state fair that black people could go to the state fair. They called it Nigger Day. And I wrote from the perspective of, this is what they feel or how they think when they look at us. Like it's just all over their face. It's just in it's part of their DNA, and you can feel that. So I just wrote from that vibe, and that's where that poem came from. So I'm glad I had an opportunity to finally put it somewhere on the stage. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you for coming. And since you're already on mic, I will say any final words, because we're going to hit everybody final words, and then we're going to get up out of here. So any final words, Mike?
Yeah, I want to say, do this again. This was incredible. I apologize that I was driving for the majority of it, trying to get home from work. So next time, I'll make sure that I am in a place where I can just enjoy and give feedback and just jump in there. So I appreciate the opportunity. Great job, y'all.
Thank you. And no apologies needed, because I literally just hit him up today, like, hey, what you doing? So I will plan next time, and everybody will be like, okay, at this bad time, at this bad channel, and we'll meet together and have it again. So thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to go in order of my screen. So Mahogany Soul, any last words?
I just thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure being here. I definitely love speaking with you guys on the subject of poetry and otherwise, because I think it grows the message that we have to share. And that's what it's all about, sharing a valuable message throughout whatever we're presenting. So thank you for the opportunity to do that. And yeah, I can't wait to come back. I want to finish this conversation.
Part two. Let's get it. My dear, she came to me like a rare epiphany. Any last words?
Justice, your place is your place. You belong in every place you've ever been, every place you aspire to go. You just got to find an honorable path to get there.
That's fair. That's fair. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for those words. I appreciate you being here as well. Essay in verse. Brother Sion, any last words?
Thank you. Thank you for all that you do. Allowing us to not only have this space to discuss, but also to emote. So thank you very much, because you have given of your time, your mental energy, and so on. And these discussions, as well as the show that you and Scott put on, is really something that I feel is better than therapy at times. So I appreciate you, Malikia.
Tip of heart with that one.
For everyone who's here that literally had time to like listen to some of my voice as well. And thank you for being able to hear your voices too.
Thank you, bro. And your voice is like butter. I don't know about y'all, but every time I hear Sion, I just want to relax. I just want to do something and relax. I'm just saying. Oh my God, his audio. What's the name of that album that has Pour on it?
It's called Aquascape.
Y'all, that's all I'm gonna say. Aquascape, go find it. Scott Harold, thank you so much for being here too. I appreciate you, partner. Any last words? With a smile, yay.
First of all, thank you for the invite, partner. You do amazing things at all times. I am looking forward to your second part to this, third part to this. I'm looking forward to every time you do something like this, because you always gather the best people together to bring it to a higher place. It's never just a bunch of chickens squabbling in a circle. It's always a beautiful thing. So yes. I love what you do, and I'm proud of you. So thank you.
I appreciate it, and I receive that love. I don't mess with chickens. Eagles only. That's it. Rules. My dear sunshine. Last words, mama.
Well, always, like, you hit me up, I got your back. You know what I'm saying? Anytime, he also asked, I had hit him up earlier. I was like, hey, you still need me for the show? And he's like, no, I got it. And then you text me, hey, you want to hop on? So I'm like, cool. No forced overtime. I'm in there like somewhere. But you are amazing, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I can't wait to see y'all Saturday. Because we get to celebrate you.
I'm excited.
I get to see. I get to celebrate and love on you again. This will be our second meeting, and this time it'll be for at least 2 days. So I am very, very looking forward to that. And yes, I've had this conversation so many times today at work, believe it or not. Yes. And how it worked, every person, I work for the people, trying to get the people fed. Every single person that sat with me today, this conversation, people that needed assistance, that was regaining their life, starting over, identifying the weights and what is not good and the roadblocks, and each person, and I am grateful to the creator for that, for me being an example, because each person, when they left from me, said, this is the best experience I ever had coming into this building. And just looking at you made me feel so much more comfortable, because I knew you wouldn't be speaking to me in a condescending tone. You wouldn't be prejudging me. You have a listening ear, and you just guided me. And I leave everybody with some type of wisdom or some information. Assalamu alaikum, Queen. There she goes.
There she go. And the sound engineer, y'all. Hi, Mimi.
Hey, everyone.
Hello.
It's so nice to have you. You got to be here for part 2 of our conversation so you can get in this vibe, because it's been a great
When's it
conversation.
going to be?
I haven't scheduled it yet, but it'll probably be in August.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know. I'll be there.
Will do. Good to see you.
Just walked in with the sound engineer, so got to get her down.
I saw. Got excited. Go ahead, Sunshine. Please continue.
And to leave folks with a thought, I share this a lot, and then we've said this. You guys have heard me say this. Identifying us, we are our greatest antidote.
Yes.
We were designed and created with everything that we need within us. We just need to identify the tools that allows us to bring that from within out. Education means to bring forth within out. So this is what,
I know, squirrel.
But this is what people need to focus on, as Mahogany Soul said, that outward is not it, because if you keep looking for outward gratification, you are creating an empty soul. And then once your soul is empty, you cannot be used anymore.
Right. I appreciate it. I'm loving the feedback. And now what's going to happen is I'm going to release everyone else with the exception of Sunshine, because you are my house hostage. And and then I'm going to do our closing comments, and then we're going to end the show and let everybody get back to their evening. For those who are exiting, thank you so much. I appreciate you very much. Bye, Mike.
I enjoyed everyone.
Oh, there we go. I'm learning. See you, Sion. Bye, Rare. Did it good?
No.
Wait, I'm learning, and I'm pushing magical.
No, wait, no.
Bye, Scott.
That just took me back to the little shows that were only afforded to us back in the day. Like, you can't do that on television.
Oh, PBS or something.
So when hey, when they popping out of the lockers, that's what it just took me back to.
Excellent. So for closing comments, I am going to drop you down and do my closing comments, but I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for holding it down. So
you just let me know what's your cue so that I could, or you going to do your outro?
Yeah, I'll hit the magic button because I know where that one is.
If you get hung up.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay, y'all, you guys have been a part of an amazing conversation. I thank you for joining us. It is a thing when someone decides to come and try to put you in your place and tell you where you belong. Well, tell you what, you belong where you say you belong. And there ain't nothing wrong with politely or impolitely reminding someone that you stand your own ground. That is not a new statement, though I I perceive that some have taken it up as a mantra and a movement, but do understand that this melanin means something different. We are walking free. We are taking back territory. We are handling business, and we ain't in the mood for your shit. So this is just a polite reminder. And again, I dedicated this whole show to those people who insist on overstepping their boundaries and being disrespectful because you see someone that you think you're about to try. I don't advise it. I don't advise it. Try kindness instead. Try love. Try understanding that somebody may have had a full-on day that had nothing to do with you, and you step up and volunteer for a problem with your mouth. My mama taught me when I was a kid, close your mouth. Everything you think, you don't have to say. And I offer that to folks freely. That's some free advice. You ain't even gotta come book me. I am a life coach. If you need some help adjusting your behaviors, if you need some help getting your privilege in order, in alignment and learning some respect for cultures outside of yourself. And I'm speaking to folks in melanin too. Whoever this applies to, it applies to. And I have no issue helping you learn what it means to have your own place and manage that. I am so busy handling my business that I don't tend to meddle in other people's business. I don't have time to. Now, when my clients contact me and they welcome me into their world to strategize, to life coach, to intuit, to clear their spirit, absolutely. I get involved 100%. No holds barred with results. So if you need that help, I will offer you non-hate infused help. I will show you what love looks like. I have no problem with that. Okay, I have no issue with that. Doesn't matter race, religion, culture, none of that. I understand what it is across barrier lines. Okay, I can help you if you need that help. And if you don't need that help, and if you offended, that's okay with me too. I'm all right with that. Because hopefully that offense will be a seed in your heart that grows something more beautiful. Please, if you don't have friends that don't look like you, that don't eat like you, that don't go to places that you go to, that don't shop where you shop, baby, it's time to open up your sphere and make some new friends. And if you don't want to pull them close enough as friends, at least don't be lazy in your living. Learn. There's something beautiful about this melanin, and I said it earlier and I meant it. Respect your mother. With that, I am complete. Part 2 is coming. Get ready. Possibly in August. Now let me go ahead and hit this mystical magical button because I'm growing stronger in my podcasting, and I know where the buttons are.